Here we go. Merry Mac Boy is your favourite for the 6th here, and the Butters have jumped on board, but a little bit of a favouritism fight with Daily Bugle here. So plenty of money going through the top of the market, down the bottom a little bit as well, but we'll focus on that top there. Merry Mac Boy looks to be the one to beat here. First time we've seen him at a solid price. Went around twice at around $1.90, now sitting at $4. Well supported. Daily Bugle $4.20, just holding that price as well. The gelding looks to have done the trick there for this horse, so a big one coming up. Micro, I'll leave the jokes to myself on that one. $7.50 into $4.80. Seen some very, very good support as well. And if you're looking for one a little bit further down the page, Love and Laughs carried a big weight and still brought it home here last start, so still getting a little bit of cash there, 41 into 34.4. But an interesting battle for favouritism coming up with Merry Mac Boy and Daily Bugle. And don't forget, you lose track of days at this time of year, but it is Saturday, so we've got top tote exotics here with Sportsbet. Whether you want first fours, this is the start of the quaddie, so why not jump on with Sportsbet there and you'll get the best payout across all three tabs.
This mounting yard is brought to you by the Racing.com Tipping Hub. Now with national form, tips and analysis. Download wherever you get your apps.
Become an MRC member handicapper. Benchmark 70 over 1,300 metres is race 6 and kicks off the quaddie on the Ladbrokes Park Hillside program this Saturday afternoon. If you're just joining us, we are on a good 3 service after racing for the first portion of the program on a 4. Horse 1 here is Love and Laughs. It was a great victory last start on the Lakeside Circuit, and Matty Lloyd sticks.
Yeah, led at a genuine speed, kept going to win last start. Now, it was a weaker race, but the stable's hit some real form of late. He'll go forward. It's a bit stronger, hence the big price, but yeah, stable going well, and he'll make his own luck on speed.
Yeah, he's been presented in super order into the mounting yard today. He's had a little bit of racing, but he certainly looks like he's coping well with it. He's got a brilliant glow to his coat, and he's holding his condition really nicely. I like the way he's moving around the yard, so no negatives.
Tom Dabberting almost going to the Hasseltoft playbook here, where he's been happy to have his horses running in some of these benchmark races across the summer months, but still engage senior riders. That's the case here with 2 Piedra and Damien Oliver.
Yeah, 2 jump outs for Piedra. Was ridden out to win the latest and gets Damien Oliver aboard first up. Now, he was a winner first up last preparation, but it was a much, much weaker contest.
Fitness looks good for this, though. Off the back of a couple of jump outs, he certainly looks forward enough to be competitive here, and he's been nice and relaxed in the yard, conserving his energy.
3 Contour Mason resumes and has been raced sparingly through 2022.
He has. He's resuming off 2 recent jump outs. I thought the latest over 1,200 was only fair for him. He has won twice first up, but that was much earlier in his career, so maybe as an older horse he takes a run.
Very bright in his demeanour in the mounting yard. He looks pretty engaged, wandering around, super in the coat. He looks in really good health for his return to the races.
4 Free to Moves third up.
And might be ready to peak third up. He maps for a nice run behind the leaders here. I would prefer his chances on a track with more give. Now they're up to a good 3. I think others may be better suited. Yeah,
holds really good condition through a racing preparation. Seems to bounce out of his races really well, and he's certainly got a spring in his step wandering around the mounting yard.
5 Ballinger, Michael D aboard for Lindsay Park. Michael D rode this horse on Cranbourne Cup Day in the race won by Paldoro. Subsequent to that, behind He's Exceptional on Wodonga Cup Day, and then behind Vermentino on the Lakeside.
Yeah, I think that it was a pretty strong midweek race and good enough form to measure up in this contest, despite the subsequent performance with excuses for a few runners from that contest. But I just think that race worked out really nice for him midfield 3 wide with cover. He might have not as advantageous a run here. Maybe he will. Maybe he's going to be in the finish again.
He's certainly had plenty of racing, and you can see that in his physique. He's nice and tight and fit for this, so no excuses from that perspective. Always pretty settled in the yard, very professional parader.
Super performance from the 6 Daily Bugle. Returned gelded and sailed past them on the Lakeside.
Yeah, returned gelded and ran the fastest last 800, 600 and 400 of the day to win there. He might take further improvement from the run. The extra 100 metres looks suitable. He may have to run some pretty slick closing splits again, though, from the barrier. He's probably going to be spotting them a start.
He's a really nice type. He's got that really good, rounded, strong hind quarter on him that you like to see in these speed horses. Hasn't always done everything right from a mounting yard point of view, but seems to be getting better with a little bit of age. Touch warm in the yard, but aside from that, he's handled himself really well.
I feel like the 7 Netanyahu's been bobbing up in acceptances on almost a daily basis since that run here at Hillside behind Tasman Park a month ago. Finally gets to the start line.
Yeah, he's going really well. Sat close to a slow speed and ran well last start, beating all bar Tasman Park, and then sat close to a fast speed 2 starts ago, ran well. He'll settle on speed. He's racing well. I think he'll run well again.
He's been really consistent in the way that he's been produced on race day, and he's been incredibly consistent on the racetrack. This is a very similar parade to the last time I saw him step out on race day. He's held his condition in colour really nicely. He's maintaining and should continue to run good race.
5 weeks between runs for the 9 Just Jono. Incidentally, the 8 Vongole are scratching. 5 weeks since the return run behind Invincible Caviar on Pakenham Cup Day.
It was an eye-catching performance too. Fastest closing sectionals of a fast race behind Invincible Caviar there first up. First, third and 11th have all since won from the race. He'll be fitter for that run, you would think potentially. I guess Jane can help us with that. But he can also maybe settle closer to the field if he jumps with them today, and that might help him against some of his rivals.
I liked his first up parade because he's a lovely, big, strong horse, and he's got a lot of substance to him. He returned in good order. He's taken good improvement out of that first parade, so he's certainly a galloper heading in the right direction.
10 Lasante scratched. The 11 Micro has gone 12.50, 14, back to 13.
Yeah, and had no luck at all last start. I think he was a bit unlucky not to finish closer there in the race at Flemington. They went really slowly and all sprinted home. He might now be ready to peak third up. He gets Jamie Carr aboard. I think he's right among the 4 key better chances in this race, and it must include for your quaddies.
He's always been quite a strong, mature type. Even as a young horse, he had that sort of physical upside. He looks like he's done really well this preparation. First time I laid eyes on him on race day, but he certainly looks ready to fire here. He's had the benefit of a couple of races, and his fitness is exactly where it needs to be.
And it's been a familiar play over the summer months as Micro gets a little bit acrobatic in the mounting yard. It's been a common theme we've seen through the summer months so far with the Moody camps setting 3-year-olds in these 3-year-old and up races, and it continues here with the 12 Mary Mac Boy, who had 2 runs in August last year, Ben, as an odds-on pop, and slotted in both of them.
Yeah, so he's got no convictions yet. 2 from 2 last preparation. He's had 2 recent jump outs. He was ridden quietly in the latest jump out, and I like the way he finished off strongly. Stable's in great form, and he, off his race form anyway, not so much his jump out, well, you would think he'd be ahead of his main rivals, Daily Bugle, Just Jono and Micro, all in the run, and I think that's why the market's lent his way today. It's a position in running type thing.
First time I've seen him on race day, and he's quite a compact, stocky type, so I imagine he probably carries a little bit of weight right the way through preparation. He does have some good definition to his muscles and looks pretty ready to go. For the most part, he's been really relaxed, and the yard does get a little bit warm, however, so aside from that, a good parade.
Micro continuing to put on a little bit of a show here in the midst of the mounting yard. Hopefully they can find a way to get the Godolphin galloper out onto the course in one piece and not put any of the other runners in the field in any form of harm's way. That looks like that's prevailing. Ben, we've got 4 runners between somewhere in the vicinity of $4 to $5.50 in the market, and they're very hard to separate.
They sure are. Yeah, he's A-OK, Micro. He just one who was keen to get out there and knew what he was doing. He knew the way out, and as soon as he got there, he galloped off with the rest of them. So he's good. Summed it up perfectly, Nigel. They are very hard to split for me anyway, these 4. I thought Just Jono and Daily Bugle were both horses I wanted to follow off impressive first up returns, where Daily Bugle might be spotting them a big start. Just Jono could be closer, but if he's not and doesn't begin well, he's going to be spotting them a big start and maybe inside of them. Micro had no luck. Third up could be ready to fire. Mary Mac Boy doesn't have to worry about bad luck in running. He's 2 from 2, but it's his toughest test to date, and he's first up conceding fitness. I think you need to throw all 4 of them in the quaddie. I think this is a really tricky way to start the quaddie, and I think Jane Ivor is going to have a little bit more clarity than me.
I don't know if I can offer any more clarity because I'm offering a couple of other runners from the mounting yard. This one's tough. It's a really even field, and I've ended up going with consistency here. I thought there are 2 horses that keep parading really well and keep racing really well, and that's Ballinger and Netanyahu. I've gone with Ballinger on top narrowly, so it's the 5 for me ahead of the 7 here. They're the 2 that are the most consistent. They're hard fit and they're ready to go. Other than that, Just Jono has improved out of his first up parade.
Yep, there's not much clarity coming from me here either. The market not giving a massive direction here. Mary Mac Boy getting a little bit of money late, but again, a very, very tough start to the quaddie for punters out there. Luckily, Top Tote Exotics here with Sportsbet, but Daily Bugle sitting at $4.20. Mary Mac Boy just holding on to favouritism. I presume we'll jump favourite there at $3.90. Can't see that ticking out too much further there, getting some late money. Micro $7.50 into $4.80 has probably seen a majority of that late cash. Netanyahu, fantastically named, $10 into $9.50, and again, down the bottom, Love and Laughs if you're looking for one just a little further out. But Mary Mac Boy, your favourite, but Daily Bugle hot on the tail.
The resplendently dressed Lindsay Smith joins us with Just Jono. Second up, Lindsay, good to see you. Talk us through the 5 weeks between runs.
Yeah, we went to Pakenham. It was a good run, but it hurt him a fair bit. It was my first time to Pakenham. Its journey was a bit longer than I thought. I thought I was heading back to Perth, but yeah, it did hurt him chasing that good horse. So took him at least 2 weeks to get over it, and then put him back into his full regime. So yeah, tricky gate for him because he's a big, strong horse, but Jared knows him well.
Has he carried much of the condition he brought into that very good first up run at Pakenham, given how you've had to deal with him in the 5 weeks since?
Yeah, he wouldn't be much fitter, I reckon. I just had to babysit him for a couple of weeks, so he's nearly where he was, to be honest. So, but the big track will suit him, and yeah, he's well enough.
So gate 2 for Jared perhaps opens up some possibilities for almost the Jamie Mott So You See run to use the fact that they might edge a little bit off the fence?
Well, let's hope so. He's the one steering it, so he does a good job normally, so it's up to him.
Good luck.
Giddy up.
It is a really fascinating speed map because you've got good pressure on paper from the likes of Merry MacBoy and Love and Laughs you'd think would go forward. Now, Netanyahu's got speed, but I think Netanyahu and Free to Move will be happy enough to take a sit-in behind Merry MacBoy and Love and Laughs. Then you've got Contel Mason. Where does he end up? He might have to do some work from a wider draw. Pedro probably going to be midfield on the inside. Just Jono maybe midfield on the inside. Could he use Pedro to stay off the fence there? Jared Fry, that might be an option. Micro's probably going to be midfield. And I thought from their draws, Ballinger and Daily Bugle might end up a fair way off them. So it's a very even betting race. The market's got little between the first 4 in betting, and it's a pretty tricky race to work out. So I thought this was the hardest race of the 9 at Sandown today, and a low confidence one, and one I was happy enough to stay out and go nice and wide of the quaddie and stay out and see how they go. But looking at the VOP late, the best move is coming for Micro, and he's the one that was also supported in early betting. He went up as much as $8 and now finds himself into $4.60 late. So a good move for Micro third up. Luckless at Flemington last start. Jamie Carr gets aboard, and he's been well supported late in betting. But horses are moving in nicely for the first leg of the quaddie at Sandown. Race 6, it's the Become an MRC member handicap, benchmark 70 level, 1,300 metres. Let's head up to Matt Hill.
Rare in the mounting yard, and if he flipped back, Jamie would have ended up on the motor racing circuit, but all is well. They've got to the start and they're nice and settled in the gates. Free to Move going in with also Love and Laughs. Next one along is Netanyahu. News coming through from the stewards as well. Some thought the inundations. Jockey Jamie Carr believes the horse may have just suffered a little bit of heat stress out there, so a possible excuse for inundation. 3 to get set, as the next one along is the favourites. Merry MacBoy, the gelding by I Am Invincible. Daily Bugle goes in, and Contel Maison will complete it. 1,300 metres, race 6. Contel Maison takes the outside. Field is set. Starter glances over the button. Bit of kicking going on in barrier number 1 with Pedra set to go, ready, and away they go. Micro misses the start by a length. Ballinger goes back with Daily Bugle. Merry MacBoy began fast to the lead from Netanyahu. Contel Maison and Love and Laughs followed by Pedra, 5th the rails. Ballinger improved to 6, 2 lengths Just Jono Micro, and then came well back in the field Free to Move, and last is Daily Bugle. So the leader Merry MacBoy looks to remain undefeated today and strides out a length and a half at an even speed from Contel Maison and Netanyahu. Love and Laughs is next as they reach the 850. Further back in the field then along the inside is Pedra, and then came Ballinger, 2 lengths Just Jono Free to Move. Micro having to do it all from the back of the field gets going 3 and 4 deep, and Daily Bugle at the end as they run the corner. 550 metres to go. It's Merry MacBoy controlling the race by a length and a half to Netanyahu, Contel Maison. Love and Laughs to the outside from Pedro, Ballinger, then Just Jono. Daily Bugle and Micro are coming with runs together out very deep on the track, but Netanyahu moves up to Merry MacBoy, and they set 2 with 250 metres to go. Merry MacBoy has a kick with Netanyahu, stride for stride, then Just Jono. Merry MacBoy, Netanyahu, head and head, stride for stride. Netanyahu gets the better of Merry MacBoy and beat it. Netanyahu was won from Merry MacBoy, Just Jono, and then came Ballinger. Next to finish, Daily Bugle and Micro from Love and Laugh. Pedra, a gap free to move. Last in, Contel Maison.
The placement is the key here for the Corstons camp, and their patience has paid off big time. They were prepared to wait 5 weeks to find the right race with Netanyahu, and it's been duly rewarded. The second victory of what's been an excellent preparation that dates back to Melbourne Cup week. Runs have been well spaced. The last three of them have all been here at the Sandown complex, placing behind Santa Katowice at Lakeside, placed behind Tasman Park on the hillside, and then almost a month since that placing, Netanyahu grabs win 4 to go alongside 9 placings in 17 career starts. John Allen gets on the board. He was aboard this horse for a victory in May last year at Geelong, had the better of Merrimack Boy, who tastes defeat for the first time in its 3 career starts. Just Jono. Well, Jared Fry ended up wide on the course in the end from gate 2, was the best of the closers into third, and Ballinger was in between them all. But a good effort, Netanyahu, 7-12-9-5, first leg of the quaddie.
Yeah, position in running and race fitness, the two keys there. So Merrimack Boy and Netanyahu, the two that controlled the race from the front, had a big advantage over the likes of Just Jono, Ballinger, Micro, and also Daily Bugle. So I think that was the difference between winning or losing. And then in that battle between the two leaders, I think it was the superior race fitness of Netanyahu, which just came to the fore over the last 100 metres or so. Merrimack Boy's run really well first up. That's 2 encouraging performances from Just Jono this preparation. He might be just about ready to win. Ballinger's racing well. Daily Bugle and Micro were okay, just probably too far back. But Jane Ivel, Netanyahu, gave a nice push in the yard from yourself, and he just keeps running well this preparation.
Oh, he's just very consistent, isn't he? He's consistent in the way that he fronts up and the way that the team manage and maintain him between runs, and he's putting the performance on the board on the track, and he deserved that victory off the back of a couple of placings in his last 2. But Dom Sutton's alongside Nigel, now representing the stable.
Dom Sutton joins us, Corstons camp, with a victory here with Netanyahu. And Dom, the patience and perhaps some of the circumstances lining up here. This horse has been ready to run on a number of occasions over the last few weeks, but everyone's pretty happy, as you can hear.
Yeah, no, he's been in terrific order this prep, so we thought he was ready to win, so we didn't want to waste a run. He drew wide here a couple of weeks ago, and then we had him accepted to run at Flemington, and then he scoped with a little bit of mucus a couple of days out, so we saved him again. And he's obviously dropping back from a mile to 1,300, so just freshened him right up, and got the job done today.
What impressed you most about the victory?
He's just so tough, this horse. He's not the most fantastic at home in his work or anything like that. He's just a real workhorse, and he definitely deserved that today.
You mentioned that he'd been a mile back to the 13. Is there scope to skip him back out in trip?
Yeah, he's so versatile. He makes his own luck and puts himself on speed. I think a mile's probably his peak. But now his rating is going to be the next question, where they put him up to, and we'll just try and find a suitable race from there.
Dom, nicely done by you and the team.
Cheers, thank you.
Johnny Allen posing for photos, taking care of his obligations post the victory here aboard Netanyahu, and a group of very, very happy connections as well. Johnny, you might get chaired back to the jockey's room here at Sandown in a bit of a rarity for a benchmark race. Really good performance. A horse you've got a reasonable handle on. What did you make of it?
Yeah, look, good, tough win. He's obviously been racing well and in good form. Dropped back in trip today, but they were team Corsons. They were happy they had him freshen up enough to be capable at the 1,300 today. And yeah, look, he travelled well in behind the leader. Got up sides, Linda in the home straight, and it gave a good kick. And obviously Moody's jokes have been hard to run by a bit. Been hard to get past lately, but he was good and tough and battled good to the line.
Hard not to be conscious of the Moody horses at the moment, particularly with the distinctive nose rolls as well. Early in the day, Detonator Jack, what were the takeaways on his performance?
Look, he's run well. Few things, probably race shape went against him, and just a few little things, but still happy with how the horse went. Look, he's progressive. Don't think even we were beaten today, but still felt he ran well.
Hey, another placing in what's been a pretty good career in a short time for that horse so far. What do you make of the remaining card for yourself?
Yeah, look, I have a couple of nice rides. They look to be around their mark, so hopefully we can get another winner.
Well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Nice performance there by Netanyahu. Picks up his second win of the campaign. The team freshened him back up and dropped him back to the 1,300 metres, and it worked well for the horse, and Johnny Allen put him into a nice position there.
Yeah, he began well. Love and Last wasn't quite as quick as what I expected. Contel Mason went forward with Mary McBoy, but I thought this was where Johnny Allen wins the race. Mary McBoy leads, but Johnny Allen just allows Netanyahu to come up inside of Contel Mason, and he initially looks as though he's going to take a sit, but he ends up outside of, or just in behind the speed, I should say, sorry, and he was able to follow Mary McBoy through and be able to challenge once Contel Mason drops off. So here he is on the back of your leader, gets across his heels with relative ease, comes up to Mary McBoy, and I think just the fact that Mary McBoy being first up from a spell with improvement to come, hard fit Netanyahu tells at the finish of the back markers, clearly Just Jono was the best run. He's run away from Daily Bugle and Micro. He's been too far back to really figure in the finish or trouble the first two. But I thought it was another really nice performance. It was an eye-catching run first up. He's been really good again. But position in running is a big thing when you're on good 3-rated tracks and they haven't gone all that quickly in front. It's going to make it tough for those horses off the speed. Netanyahu will deserve victory in the 6th race at Sandown. We're 6 down. Let's head off to Gawler.